We are looking at the southeast corner of 1803 Sharon Lane. We're actually getting a view from the neighbor to the south of this property. I'm standing on the bank of Johnson Creek, so behind me I fall quickly into the creek bed, if you will. So this metal plate and the wrought iron fence on the neighbor's side are both built on grade, except that what you've got on the 1803 Sharon Lane, the builder brings in quite a massive amount of soil, maybe 200 cubic yards, and he's using the retaining wall to hold that soil in place. So we're talking about a massive amount of soil. Where I'm walking right now, all of this is in the floodway. I mean, most of this. The retaining wall is 2 foot tall, 312 feet long, running from the back boundary to the street. And everything that you're looking at right here is all in the 25-year floodway. The retaining wall that's holding the soil is sloped somewhat to the middle of the lot, but there is no part of this lot that's lower than pre-construction. That's how much soil was brought in. Where we're walking right now, it's still in the floodway. That corner of the deck that you're seeing with these flat stones, that used to be in the 25-year floodway. Now, because he's brought in the soil, he's elevated that portion of the property out of the floodway, which is not allowed. Here we're looking at the bamboo is again on the original native soil, and the retaining wall, that is a 2 foot tall retaining wall, average again 16 to 18 inches that it's holding. Now the problem, even in the front part of the lot, is this retaining wall where stormwater would normally come down the street and it would flow southeasterly. Now it hits this retaining wall and all of that water is diverted and it stays to the north of this retaining wall, which means a greater concentration of water that normally would flow southeasterly cannot flow southeasterly. It's going to be concentrated into this floodway. I think perhaps what we must understand is that once Johnson Creek overflows, everything right here that you're looking at with the camera, this is all underwater. This usually or typically in a flood event, and we've had maybe half a dozen since I've owned this property, is about 1 foot to 2 feet of water. That's how much water. This is an old historic oak tree. That shows you the native level. Look at the planter that's built around it. That's how much soil was brought in. So there is no place on this lot where the ground level is lower. We're going to go get a little bit more detail. Again, you're looking at the top part of the retaining wall. We're going to pan the camera over to the other side so that you can see the height difference. Both of these lots, the one with the wrought iron fence and the one in 1803 Sharon Lane, are all on the same level. There is not a drop, except that now there is a drop because I'm standing almost 2 feet taller than the bottom of that wrought iron fence. That I should be on the same level as that wrought iron. I'm not, because I'm standing on top of non-native soils. The retaining wall is holding about 20 inches of soil. So again, we're talking about a massive amount of soil. Water, when it floods, would typically flow freely underneath this wrought iron fence and make its way down to Town Lake. No longer can it do that because it's going to hit that retaining wall. It's going to fill up to the top of that retaining wall, and all that water is going to back up to upstream neighbors, and I am one of those upstream neighbors. And this is extremely detrimental and quite dangerous for any property owners who aren't aware that this defect is in place, and it's been this way, and I've been sounding the alarm bell for about a year and a half almost now, and I still see absolutely nothing done. Again, I'm trying to give you a good pan here to give you a sense of what is the difference in height between